I love the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, which have now been adopted by many 12-step groups and even used by Christian groups for recovery. And I have heard people say different things about them. And one of them is that they feel like the first step that talks about powerlessness, that the alcoholic is powerless over alcohol, that gives the person an excuse to continue drinking, an excuse to say, well, I can't help it. It's a disease. I am there's a compulsive desire to drink. I'm obsessed with it. I can't stop it. The idea of powerlessness is misapplied in that situation. The whole idea of powerlessness is from having tried to stop drinking, tried to stop doing something that you are not able to stop, something that you are powerless over. You can't do it. But the whole idea of the steps is that by admitting you can't do it, that in step two, you turn to God and believe that God can restore you to sanity. So it's like you're saying in step one, I'm powerless over alcohol, and other programs say over people, places, and things, over my eating, over my gambling, over my spending, whatever it is that you're finding yourself feeling compulsively drawn to do, and it's messing up your life, and you've tried to stop it and you can't. Well, you are stuck with that and hopeless unless you have the principles behind the 12 steps. You're powerless to do it on your own, but with God's help, you can. Maybe God's help and the power of the group or the program or the 12 steps. You can do it when you have God's help. Dr. Bill and Bill W. and Dr. Bob both knew this from their own lives because they had tried to stop drinking on their own and failed many times. And they wrote the steps and they recognized, hey, I'm powerless. And step one says, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol or whatever else you put in that place of alcohol, that my life or our lives have become unmanageable. When you're powerless over something, your life becomes unmanageable. Another word for that is a mess. It becomes a big mess. It's all kinds of problems. So you admit that you're powerlessness, and then step two says, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. So you come to the place where after admitting you're powerless, that God can restore you to sanity. Sanity meaning a reasonable way of living, and that is not drunk, okay? In not drinking or not gambling or not overspending or not continuing to try to fix people when you can't fix them, not continuing to do the same thing that is causing you to make bad choices in your life. And then step three, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand Him. So, in other words, once you admit that you can't do it and your life is a mess and that you believe that God can, then you say, you do the surrender. Okay, here, I'll let Him. Okay, God, I can't do it. I've messed up on my own. You take it. So, if you've got somebody in your life that is using the first step of the 12 steps as an excuse to continue to do any kind of behavior that is not okay. That is not the proper application of the steps, and that is not what powerlessness was meant to suggest. Romans 7:18 says, for I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that is in my sinful nature, for I have the desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. That talks about the first step. Admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives were unmanageable. So it's basically, I got something going on inside of me that keeps messing me up. Okay, call it sin, call it compulsion, call it a disease of alcoholism. It's the same thing. I need help. I can't do it. It says powerless means I can't. Step two, came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. Hope, that gives you hope. He can do it. I can't, he can. For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purposes. Philippians 2:13. Such a scriptural program. The 12 steps are so scriptural. Step three, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. Surrender. I think I'll let him. I can't, he can. I think I'll let him. That's surrender. Romans 12:1, therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. If you're not familiar with the steps, highly encourage you to familiarize with yourself with the steps. And I actually have a class that comes around on Zoom that is taught a couple times a year on applying the 12 steps to your life, which you don't have to be in an addiction in order to do, but also available for purchase to work on your own if you'd like to get some more insight into what the 12 steps are. So I hope this has been helpful. Remember, powerlessness is just the first step to admitting that you need God's help. Okay, God bless you.